Hallo, mijn damen en heren, in deze vlog de Louis Sabin video podcast. This episode en alle episodes zie als Dankeschön als Joe Rogan en J.R.E. Grabach. Without Joe, I would have never thought about doing this podcast. His podcast is available on YouTube and iTunes. Very funny man, former host of the Fear Factor show, which ran on NBC for a while. Also currently a commentator for the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC. Ach, dein Inhen van Science, the only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. The original, great tasting, 0 calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you the hashtag Power2. Today I am drinking cherry lime. It's one of the flavors available when you go into Meyer. It's nice to see that they're at least carrying 3 different types. Another place I've been able to find it is Marathon gas stations. I've been able to find them in there. There's some that don't cover it, but the ones around my area do in Grand Rapids. They're kind of hard to find, but as always, very, very delicious. Also brought to you by Fucks. Not given here, not given there, not given anywhere. To answer the question of why I started this entire thing in German, because I felt like it. Yeah, I thought I'd screw with you guys and open in German. My German's a little rusty, so I need to look up a couple of things. But, yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. That's how you do that. We're going to discuss a couple things. I'm going to have to look a couple things up because I didn't totally prepare, and I'm going to have to let the puppy in here in a minute. He was naughty, and so I threw him outside, and he hasn't come back up yet. So I'm going to stick my head out here real quick. I'll be right back, and then we will crack this baby open. Hey, come on. Come on, Hank. Come on. Really? Come on. Come back up here. Come on back up here. Okay, what? Opening and closing that door in there sucks. It locks up. Alright, let's crack this baby open. Not bad. I've had that one before. I just don't have it very often. Forgot if I liked it or not. Okay, so first things first. Huge controversy going on right now in the NFL. And that is about last Sunday night. No, it was the 4:30 game. Sorry. America's Game of the Week is what they call it. Where Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver for the New York Football Giants, and cornerback Josh Norman got into a bit of a scuffle. By a bit of a scuffle, I mean punches were thrown. Several punches were actually thrown, now that I think about it. And Odell Beckham Jr. targeted, which is using the crown of your helmet, by completely headbutting full force into Josh Norman. Odell is currently appealing the suspension. Actually started at noon. I haven't heard anything on it yet. Normally, I'd be able to check in with that with Colin Coward. However, because of it being holidays, he's not on. Which is really screwing up my schedule, because normally when I have to take care of the puppy, this is what I do. I watch Dan Patrick, and then I watch The Herd. It's kind of messing my schedule, but we will move on. As I said, scuffle between them. Odell Beckham Jr. has been fined. I don't know how much he was fined. He's suspended 1 game. Josh Norman has been fined. But last I heard, he is not being suspended. Again, the information I have is a little old, so I could be wrong by now. But last I heard, they were just going to fine him. It's a big thing going on right now Two of them really tried to kind of kill each other, if you will. And I think it's ridiculous. I'm not going to continue on this very much because if you watch SportsCenter, let's see, SportsCenter Dan Patrick, if the herd was updated, he'd be talking about it. I said SportsCenter. The Fox Sports Live, is that what it's called? It's their news thing for Fox Sports 1. They covered it on, what was I watching last night? I forget what it was. It was something involving the news. They discussed it. They discussed it on the morning show that I watch. I don't know what it's called. It's actually on at night, but I don't watch it. I watch it in the morning. So that's 6 different venues right there where they have talked about it. So I'm not going to go into great detail about it. It's ridiculous. These 2 young men should pull their heads directly from their assholes and learn how to cheer the fuck up. Your professionals, act like it. Of course, this also falls on the officials. The officials didn't take any action. They didn't try to throw them out. They didn't throw any flags. They did throw flags. They were Odell Beckham Jr. was flagged 4 times? 5 times? I think. For unsportsmanlike conduct. But nothing big. I mean, they weren't thrown out of the game. The Panthers, of course, remain undefeated at this current moment in time. And that is as much time as I'm going to spend on that topic. Although something that is kind of cool coming from the NFL is they have released their Pro Bowl roster pool, who they believe will be in the Pro Bowl due to the voting. Currently at quarterback, I will go over this. Currently at quarterback, the selection for the Pro Bowl is Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Palmer, Cam Newton, and Tom Brady. At running back, Jonathan Stewart, Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, Todd Gurley, Devontae Freeman, and Doug Martin. At fullback, Mike Tolbert and Marcel Reese. At wide receiver, Brandon Marshall, Julio Jones, Calvin Megatron Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, Larry Fitzgerald, Antonio Brown, and Odell Beckham Jr. Tight end, Greg Olsen, Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, Tyler Eifert. At offensive tackle, Trent Williams, Andrew Whitworth, Joe Thomas, Joe Staley, Tyron Smith, and Jason Peters. At center, Mike Pouncey, Alex Mack, Ryan Khalil, and Travis Fredericks. At offensive guard, Marshall Yanda, Tria Turner, Josh Sitton, Zach Martin, Mike Iupati, and David DeCastro. At defensive end, Muhammad Wilkerson, J.J. Watt, Khalil Mack, Chandler Jones, Michael Bennett, and Ezekiel Ziggy Ansah. At defensive tackle, Quan Short, Gerald McCoy, Geno Atkins, Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox, Calais Campbell. At outside linebacker, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Justin Houston, Tamba Hali, Thomas Davis, and Jamie Collins. Inside linebacker, Bobby Wagner, Clay Matthews, Luke Kuechly, Navarro Bowman. At corner, Aqib Talib, Richard Sherman, Darrell Rivas, Patrick Peterson, Marcus Peters, Josh Norman, Chris Harris, and Malcolm Butler. At safety, Charles Woodson, Earl Thomas, Reggie Nelson, Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Chancellor, Eric Berry. Kicker, Stephen Gostkowski, Dan Bailey. At punter, Sam Koch, Johnny Hecker. Punt return, Darren Sproles, Tyler Lockett. ST. I still to this day have no idea what the fuck that means. I think that's your gunner, which would be going towards the punter. Matthew Slater and Justin Bethel. I would like to point out one thing. In the safeties, they have Tyrann Mathieu making it to the Pro Bowl. He will not be able to participate. He tore his ACL. He's out for the year. Quick go over this a second. At corner, the only reason Richard Sherman's there is because he's Richard Sherman. He hasn't had very good stats this year. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying. I thought that was a bit odd. Same thing with Darrelle Revis. I don't get the hype behind him. Marcus Peters is a rookie. It's cool to see him on there. Eric Berry, big story about him. He was suffering from, I think it was cancer, some form of cancer. And he is, of course, now in remission and is back to the NFL. Pretty cool story, actually. There was somebody else. Nope. Ziggy Ansah, it's really cool to see him here because, of course, he's from, sorry, not Notre Dame, that's the next guy I was going to cover. He's a defensive end for the Lions. It's just cool to see the Lions get a defensive end in there. Last I heard, he was tied with J.J. Watt. It's pretty awesome. At offensive guard, Zach Martin is in there. Notre Dame alumni. Pretty cool to see him in there, even if he does play for the Cowgirls. Tyler Eifert, absolutely deserving of being in the tight end race. Big weapon for the Bengals. Last I heard, he was still suffering from either a neck injury or a concussion. He should be fine by now. Travis Kelce, again, very deserving. Odell Beckham Jr., I don't know what he's doing on here. I mean, sure, he's got a lot of catches. Sure, he's got a lot of yards. But I can think of a couple other guys that deserve it more than he does. Antonio Brown, I'm always going to be happy to see him in the Pro Bowl. Antonio Brown, of course, plays for the Steelers. He's a wide receiver. But a big story with him is he went to Central Michigan, which is a huge, huge deal for us Michiganders because we don't get a lot of small college kids that go to the NFL. It's pretty cool to see that. And then, of course, we're all happy about Calvin Johnson. Another big shout-out to, I'm sorry, one of them's been around for a year. I still consider him a rookie. Made it to the Pro Bowl at running back. Todd Gurley and Devontae Freeman, both very deserving. No arguments whatsoever at the quarterback position. I may not be a huge fan of Tom Brady, but he does have the stats. He is, going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Hang on, the puppy wants it. Come on. Come on. There you go. That door is a bitch. You were naughty. You were naughty. Down. Down. I'll forgive you. Don't worry. I'm not angry. It's just getting repetitive. He keeps peeing in the same spot. So I think you got to take some bleach to it. It's just getting kind of ridiculous because he's normally very good about going outside. He warns me. He usually starts to cry. This past time, he did cry a little, but he was throwing stuff around and acting like he was all playful. So I just assumed it was a half and half. Half his fault, half my fault. That's another reason why I'm not angry about it. He did, I guess, attempt to warn me. I didn't take it as that, though, because he was throwing stuff around and being all playful. So I just assumed it was a you're not playing with me cry. See? Put it on both of us. And no, that sound, if you heard that, was not the dog. That's some weird car that goes by every once in a while. As I said, the quarterback position. I may not be the biggest fan of Tom Brady. Absolutely deserves to be there. Cam Newton should be the MVP. Absolutely deserving. Should we not share? Good, you're not. Carson Palmer, again, arguably in the MVP race. Don't think he'll win it, but he's definitely in that race with Cam. Doing a fantastic job this season. Aaron Rodgers always plays lights out. He's just an amazing guy and a really good quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben Roethlisberger, always, again, has great numbers. Never going to argue with him being in the Pro Bowl. And Russell Wilson, at the beginning of the year, if you'd have told me that he was going to be in here, I would have argued with you. Meaning, he doesn't deserve to be there. But these past few weeks, as we get a little bit closer to the playoffs, he has just gone off. There's no other way that I can word that, but he has just caught fire. And he's playing extremely well. Absolutely deserving of being in the Pro Bowl. Okay, the upcoming schedule. NFL.com. That information came to me from the NFL.com. I should let you know. Last time I forgot to say it, and a buddy of mine called me out on it. But I didn't say it, and I'm supposed to. I can't remember to do everything. That's last week. I don't like that it does that. Oh, actually, it's week 1. We're in week 15 now? Yeah, so we got one more game, I think. No, we're in week 16. Oh, shit. It means there's only 1 week left. I thought there was 2 weeks left. Nope, 1. Okay. The next game. As soon as this stinking page loads. Still spitting death wheel. There we go. This Thursday, tomorrow, December 24th, the Chargers will be at the Raiders. That is at 8:25 Eastern Time. Saturday, December 26th, the Redskins are playing at the Eagles. Sunday, where everybody else plays, for those of you who didn't know, at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox, the 49ers are playing at the Lions. 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. The Steelers are playing at the Ravens. The Cowboys are at the Bills. The Bears are at the Bucks. The Panthers are at the Falcons. The Colts are at the Dolphins. The Patriots are at the Jets. The Texans are at the Titans. The Browns are at the Chiefs. The Jaguars are at the Saints. And for the midday game, there's 2 of them, 4:25. I call it midday because it's America's game of the week, whichever one they pick. Depends on your bailing area. Packers are at the Cardinals, and the St. Louis Rams are at the Seahawks. Actually, both of those games should be pretty good. And Sunday night, the Giants are at the Vikings, and Monday night, the Bengals are at the Broncos. Quick little piece of information. Of course, the Giants will be playing without Odell Beckham Jr. when they show up in Minneapolis. Actually, they don't play in Minneapolis anymore because they're at the University of something. I always say the University of Minnesota, and I'm wrong. It's something else. Maybe it is the University of Minnesota. Anyway, the Vikings aren't in Minnesota anymore. Or they're in Minnesota. They're not in Minneapolis anymore. They've moved. Anyway, when they go to the Vikings. So that will be a very good game. I mean, it was going to be a good game anyway, but now it's really good because... Hank! Damn it! Get your ass in here. Hank! Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Breaking shit. Stay in here. What? Hank, do me a favor. Calm down. He took a nap and now he's all fired up. And I'm not a fired up person, just in general. What are you doing? That's glass. You just licked the window. That's glass. Whatever you do, don't eat that. What are you doing? Hank. Hey, Hank. What are you doing? Sitting here. Staring at you now. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, the Texans and the Titans. That should be a pretty good game. The Texans are without their quarterback. Last I heard, it will be Brandon Weeden will be starting. Of course, Hoyer's still going through. That's a good spot for you. Lay in your bed. Concussion protocol, last I heard. TJ Yates, he tear his ACL? Let me double check that real quick. TJ Yates, seriously hurt though. There we go. Yeah, he tore his ACL. He's out for the season. And so last I heard, they're going to be depending on Brandon Weeden. And if anybody watched the Weeden fiasco when he was the backup for the Cowgirls, you'll know that that's not going to go over well. So they picked up, was it BJ Coleman? Maybe we'll check something real quick. Texans QB. They picked up BJ Daniels, I'm sorry, and Tom Savage is still sitting on the bench, last I heard. Texans signed BJ to active roster off Seahawks practice squad. B.J. Daniels was originally a quarterback. He had moved to receiver, then I think they moved him back to quarterback. He's not bad, not great, but not bad. He's got good footwork, though. I mean, if you need somebody to take off, he absolutely can do it. Okay. And for the Titans, there will be no Marcus Mariota. He sprained his MCL. Now, I'm getting contradicting reports. One says that he's done. The other says he's being reevaluated. So, I'm going to go ahead and say he's being reevaluated. See if he can come back. I think same thing with the Colts. I think you weigh on the side of caution. And if he's not absolutely 100%, and the doctor says he's absolutely 100%, don't play him. Colts, of course, are playing the Dolphins. The reason I bring that up is because they keep doing we could put Andrew Luck back in if we wanted to. Yeah, well, he has a lacerated kidney and a bunch of busted up ribs. That's something you don't mess around with. And I said that to the Colts organization. I tweeted it out to them, and they kept telling me, well, look at the report. It says he might be fine. That's something you don't mess around with. You leave him, you let that heal, and you don't monkey with it. But yeah, my predictions. I'll go through that real quick. Chargers, Raiders win. Redskins, Eagles, Redskins. Niners, Lions. Actually, I'm going to go with the Lions. If they play like they did when they were at the Saints, depends on what Lion team shows up. But if they play like they did at the Saints, Lions win. Steelers, Ravens, Steelers. Cowgirls, Bills. Nothing against Kellen Moore starting for the Cowgirls. It's just that it's the Cowgirls. They suck. Bears, Buccaneers, Bucks. Panthers, Falcons. Panthers win. Colts, Dolphins. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Colts. Patriots, Jets. Jets beat the Patriots by 3. Texans, Titans. Titans win. Browns, Chiefs. Browns. Jags, Saints. Jaguars. Packers, Cardinals. Cardinals. Rams, Seahawks. Seahawks win by 10. Giants, Vikings. Vikings win by 4. Probably like a 4.5 spread, probably. So I'm going to go ahead and side with 4. So if I am by 3, probably. Bengals, Broncos. Unclear at the moment who will be starting for the Broncos. I've heard both. I've heard Osweiler and I've heard Manning. I think he put in Peyton just because. Last I heard was Osweiler was injured a little bit. And if Peyton's back at 100%, you go ahead and throw him back in there. But I'm going to go ahead and side with the... That's tough. That's a toughie because the Bengals are without Andy Dalton. I always forget his name. Because it's something simple, so it makes me think about it. But, sorry, they're showing highlights from UFC on December 3rd. So I keep looking up there and catching bits and pieces. It's a good card. The Bengals are without again, see, almost did it. Andy Dalton. They have A.J. McCarron starting, who had a rocky first game. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Bengals. I think the Broncos' defense is going to be able to help them out, but I don't know if they can. I'll go with the Bengals. That's that. For bowl games, gone over the schedule about 3 times now. The big games are on the 31st. Notre Dame and Ohio State's the 1st. Other than that, not a lot of real big games. You can look all that information up on ESPN.com. The information that I've given you just now is from NFL.com. And now we shall go to ShareDog, the global authority on mixed martial arts. I am not sponsored by any of the companies that I name. Let's bring them up. Yeah, right now, Holly Holm Ronda Rousey is for the upset of the year. I don't really know that. I mean, Yeah, it was an upset, absolutely. But if you knew anything about Holly, you knew that she was going to give Ronda a run. And speak of Satan herself, there she is. Ronda, that is. Why do I say that? Because when she's in the octagon, in the words of Joe Rogan, that's a demon. Sadly, they're going to go to an immediate rematch. I think that's bullshit. But whatever. So, there are no fights this weekend. However, there is a fight on January 2nd. And that is UFC 195. Robbie Lawler versus the natural-born killer Carlos Condit. All right. We're going to go down the card here. Sorry, there's shit in my throat. Not literally. Obviously. Snape. Sheldon Westcott's facing Edgar Garcia. Joe Soto is fighting Mishinori Tanaka. That sad part where people laugh about this, I can pronounce their names much easier than I can the Americans. Some of the Americans, I'm sorry, have fucked up last names, and I don't know. Dustin Poirier is fighting Joseph Duffy. Funny how that was supposed to be a main event on a cable card, and now it's on the fucking Facebook prelims. I'm sorry, Fight Pass prelims. I'm still used to that. Sorry, I'll read that in a second. That was funny. The fourth fight on the card, Abel Trujillo against Tony Sims. Scott Holtzman against Drew Dauber. Nina Ansarov against Justine Kish. And to lead off the prelims, Michael McDonald and Masanori Kanehara. The eighth fight, otherwise known as the first fight on the main card, Brian Ortega against Diego Brandao. The ninth fight, Albert Taminov against Lorenz Larkin. 10th fight, Kyle Noak, Alex Morano. 11th fight, Andrei Arlovsky, the Pitbull, against Stipe Miocic. And, of course, the main event, Robbie Lawler, ruthless Robbie Lawler, against Carlos, the natural-born killer Condit. Okay, a quick run through some things here with the people that I know. Joe Soto, Mishinori Tanaka, that should be a really good fight. Because Joe Soto fought... Did he fight Dillashaw? Yeah, he fought Dillashaw because Barao, that's right, passed out due to weight cut. And he actually fought really well against the champ. So, yay for Joe Soto. Hopefully he has a good fight. Dustin Poirier, Joe Duffy. I think Poirier runs through him. Abel Trujillo, Joe Sims. Abel's my boy. I hope he knocks him the fuck out. Nina Ansarov against Justine Kish. I stay away from all female fights, but I have a feeling it's going to be a unanimous decision to Nina. Michael Mayday McDonald against Masanori Kanehara. Michael McDonald wins by knockout. Brian Ortega against Diego Brandao. Decision, Brandao, if he doesn't submit him. Lorenz Larkin, unanimous decision over Albert Tumanov. Kyle Noak and Morano. Decision, Noak. Arlovsky, Miocic. That is a really good fight. That one I'm going to remain undecided. I actually don't know. If it remains standing, Arlovsky might be able to knock out Miocic. But if it goes to the ground, I mean, I know Arlovsky's a decent wrestler, but still, Miocic is just such a good wrestler. He's a very well-rounded fighter. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I don't know who to pick. And then for the main event, now I realize, again, this is one of those where, same thing with the last one, I'd like to remain undecided. I will pick one. But this is a win-win scenario when it comes to whoever will be the champion. Robbie Lawler absolutely deserves to be the champ. Amazing guy, great fighter. Hell of a chin, good kickboxing. Again, very well-rounded. And then there's Carlos Condit, who's been my favorite fighter for years. He was one of the first guys I watched and was just in absolute awe about what he was able to do. Again, striking and kickboxing, such a high level. I'm going to go ahead and say Carlos, based on reach and effectiveness. But if Robbie wins, I won't be surprised and I won't be upset. Both very deserving, as I said, of a title fight. Obviously, Robbie is the champion, so that makes sense that he would be deserving of a title fight. But Carlos absolutely deserves it. Sorry, I'm thinking. Yeah. Well, so somebody in a chat board, I'll probably mention that at the end. The counter room chat board that I belong to said they think this is going to be like when Robbie fought Rory McDonald. And I say yes and no. Why do I say yes and no? Carlos fought Rory McDonald and handed him his first loss, I believe. Look. Yep. Carlos was his first loss, and then he turned around. Decision, TKO, decision. Then he lost split decision to Robbie. Decision, TKO, and then he got TKO'd by Robbie just recently on the Mendez-McGregor card. Unclear as to when he'll come back. And, of course, Carlos has who's name of who he's beaten. Of course, he's been beat. He's 12-8. Is that what I read? 30-8. So you're not even close. But again, beaten by some pretty good competition. His first loss came in FW2, Fight World 2. His second loss came in Pancrase. Then he lost in Rumble on the Rock 9 to Jake Shields. Extreme Wars Bay Arena Brawl to Pat Healy. And back to Pancrase. Went to WEC. After WEC 35 and TKOing Hiramtisu Miura, he fought Martin Kampman and lost. Then he fought in split decision Jake Ellenberger. Then he TKO'd Rory McDonald, knocked out Dan Hardy. Flying knee and punches. That is one of the coolest. If you guys want to look up a really cool highlight, Donghyun Kim against Carlos Condit is pretty cool. Flying knee TKO. Then he decisioned Diaz, lost to GSP, which I'm still not 100% certain about that. Then he lost to Johnny Hendricks, which was a really funny card because that was the dumbest card ever. Why do I say that? The main event was Diaz against George St. Pierre. Nobody wanted to see that fight. Like, I don't know anybody. We were like, it's going to be George is going to beat him up. He's going to wrestle fuck him. And he's going to beat him up on the ground. What happened? George wrestle fucked him and beat him up on the ground. So it was really funny because if you watch that fight, the card, I should say, you get to the co-main event, and, you know, they go to Bruce Buffer, and Bruce Buffer always does, you know, this is the co-main event of the evening thing. He mixed it up, and he accidentally said, for the fight that we all wanted to see, which was Hendricks Condit, which was the co-main event, he accidentally said, this is the main event. And then he did oh crap. Well, he already said it, so what's the point of correcting yourself? And he just kept going. Then he beat Martin Kampmann, TKO'd him. And then he lost to Tyron Woodley, who I felt really bad about that fight because he busted up his knee. And even Tyron was upset about it because he was like, I wanted to fight him. I didn't want to do that. TKO via leg kick. Leg kick, not lead, if I can speak English. And then doctor stoppage win TKO over Thiago Alves. Now, of course, he's fighting for the belt. I mentioned Johnny Hendricks. He was supposed to be on this card, I believe. Yeah, I think he was supposed to be on this card. He's not. He just beat decision Matt Brown. I didn't watch that fight on purpose. And Big Rig, is now fighting Stephen Thompson. By the way, so allow me to explain this. He was scheduled to fight Tyron Woodley. Hendricks shows up at camp fat. I don't mean overweight. I really mean fat. Like his trainer and everybody at the camp said that. They said he showed up fat. Didn't really try to work off the weight. Didn't really try anything too much. Just kind of did his thing. Showed up very much overweight to the weigh-ins and bowed out and said, I can't fight. I'm not going to make weight. So, of course, they dropped the fight. Tyron Woodley was naturally kind of upset about it because he, of course, was ready to go. Now Johnny Hendricks is fighting Stephen Thompson. Ducking Tyron Woodley much? Which is too bad for Tyron because Tyron is an amazing fighter. Okay, I'm not going to discuss that. Sorry, that was an argument I got on a thing with fucktards. I will explain. Okay, so to explain this thing, that's what I was checking. Somebody liked my comment. Someone said something about, it was the thing that said, I am a piece of paper that rules your life. And it was a picture of a dollar bill. And my response to that was, well, actually, if you knew anything about currency, you would know that actually U.S. dollar is not made of paper. It's made of cloth. It has paper fragments in it, but it's mostly cloth. Let me see. Do I have a dollar laying around here? I just saw a 5 that I pulled out of my pocket. There we go. Yeah. There's a reason why you can get it wet. And why you can, crinkle it up and pull it back out like that and be fine. Because it's not 100% paper. It's part cloth. That's why doesn't have the feel of paper. Everything. I don't know why I'm giving you a elementary, lesson on money. Currency. A lot of people being fucktards about it. About how, well, then why is it called paper? Because people are stupid. And then I had people that were attacking me on there. I'm not going to go into that. And saying how I was stupid. Which was funny. Because I'm not. You could Google it. It's made of... Is there paper in it? I'm not going to refute that because it's true. There's paper in it. But it's mostly cloth. In the words of Joe Rogan, if I put a slice of ham on a sandwich that's 80% dog shit and hand it to you, would you be willing to call that a ham sandwich? Anyway, back to something that's much more important, and that is, of course, mixed martial arts. Rafael dos Anjos beat Donald Cerrone. I was actually kind of shocked, especially because of how flat and watered down dos Anjos looked. It's amazing what happens when you're not allowed to be on roids. Okay, that fight is January 2nd. January 17th. I'll quick go over this. Is a card that, please God, don't let the injury bug get to. January 17th of the new year in Boston, Massachusetts. It's UFC Fight Night 81. TJ Dillashaw will defend his belt against the former champion Dominic Cruz. That is going to be a Jesus fight. And I am very pumped for it. Also on the card, Dennis Bermudez, Maximo Blanco, Sean O'Connell, Ilir Latifi, Chris Wade, Maribek Tasimov, Patrick Cote, Ben Saunders, Paul Felder, Darren Cruikshank, my boy from Detroit, Tim Bosch, Ed Herman, Travis Papa Brown, Matt Mitrione, Anthony Showtime Pettis, and Eddie Alves. That is set to be an amazing card. I got Dominic Cruz beating TJ. I love TJ, but Dominic Cruz has a speed that I don't think he can match. And that's going to be at the the TD Garden in Boston. The fight after that is on the 30th, and that is Fox UFC on Fox 18. Johnson versus Bader. Currently on that card, Jim Hayes against Charles Rosa. Felipe Oliveri against Tony Martin. Oliver Aubin Mercier against Joaquim Silva. George Sullivan against Alexander Yakovlev. Tarek Safadine, Jake Ellenberger, Sage Northcutt. Wow, he's fighting really soon. Against Andrew Holbrook, Ben Rothwell, Josh Barnett. That should be a really good fight. And, of course, Anthony Rumble Johnson against Ryan Darth Bader. Big fan of Bader. I've always liked him. Also because of his nickname. That, of course, is at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The fight after that is on February 6th, MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that is the rematch for the UFC heavyweight belt. And that is against Fabricio Verdum against Cain Velasquez. Also on this card, at the current moment in time. Of course, this will change and they'll add people and shit like that. Mike Pyle, Sean Spence, Josh Berkman, KJ Nunes, Ovince St. Preux against Rafael Calvacante, Roy Big Country Nelson against Jared Roseholt, Johnny Fat Fuck Hendricks against Stephen Thompson, and of course Fabricio Verdum, Cain Velasquez. They have not announced yet what will be in Pittsburgh, which is on the 27th of February. That'll be in England. That's the next card. I hate when the page does that. That's the next card. After that, on the 27th, is in London. Wow, that made sense, didn't it? It's in Pittsburgh in London. Yes, they have a Pittsburgh division in London. I don't know. Don't know where I was going with that. UFC Fight Night 82 in Pittsburgh, which is in the Council Energy Center, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, United States. Let me see if they've announced anything. Oh, shit, they did! I stand corrected. UFC 82 in Pittsburgh currently is Derek Brunson against Rowan Carnero? I don't fucking know. Also on that card, Sean Strickland, Alex Garcia. That should be a good fight. Anthony fucking Hamilton against Shamil Abdurmakov. I don't know. It's Adburakkhimov. Abdurmakov. James Crouch against Sean Campbell. Trevor Smith against Leonard Guimaraes. Sam Alvey against Daniel Serafian. Joe Riggs, Chris Camuzzi. That should be a good fight. Brandon Thatch, Siar Baharazada. I always fuck up his last name. Siar Baharazada. See, I knew I could get it. I can get it out of my mouth. You just gotta give me a second. That sounded bad. Allow me to rephrase. I knew I could say the words. I just needed to be given a second. That sounded bad. I had to make sure I said that. Who did he fight last? John Howard. Oh, shit. That was a long time ago. No wonder. I was like, I know who that is, but I haven't seen him in a while. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. To give you an idea, the last time Sahir Baharazada fought, he lost to Dong Yoon Kim, UFC TV 8. Silva versus Stan. Give you an idea of why that's funny. Brian Stan retired after that fight. That was 3 years ago. Yeah. The next time Sahir Baharazada fought was he was lost to John Howard on Weidman versus Silva 2. So it's been over 3 years since he's fought. 3 years and it's going to be in 5 days. It'll be exactly 3 years. Wow. Of course, he's fighting, as I said, Brandon Thatch. Cody Garbrandt against John Lineker. Ooh, that should be a good fight. Is this his first fight at a higher weight level, or is he still... I'm looking flyweight. Thought he had to go up. Who knows? That's one of those where I actually go, I don't know. He was supposed to supposedly fight, and he's 5'2", right? Okay. Sorry, when I scanned the page, it looked like it said 6'2", and I was like, that can't be accurate. He's not taller than me. I know that for a fact. I'm about 5'8"-ish. Why do I say 5'8"-ish? 5'7 3/4 or something like that. I just say 5'8". It's easier. Cody Garbrandt, John Lineker, and of course Derek Brunson and Roland Carneiro. Carneiro? I don't know. Okay, let's see who's fighting at the O2. See if they've announced that yet. They have. This shit interests me because it doesn't say anything, and then you go, all right, let's see. Click. Oh, hey, look, they do have people announced on the card. Oh shit, I forgot about him. Okay, the first fight: Timu Pikalan against Lukas Sajewski. Martin Svensson against David Timur. Arnold Allen, Yoktin Meza. Davey Grant against Marlon Vera. Brad One Punch Pickett against Enrique Briance. Nakwan Amakani. I think it's Amarkani. Against Mike Wilkinson. Tom Breeze against Kieta Nakamura. Oh, dear Christ. Daniel Omalanchuk. Omielanczuk. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say you're Polish. Look at that! He is from Poland. How did I know that? Lots of C's and Z's. I'm part Polish, so yeah. That's how I know that. Also because I'm not stupid. Against... Sorry. Against oh, dear. Please tell me that's pronounced as an H. Okay, it's either Jargis Danho or Yarhis Danho. I'm hoping it's Yarhis. Because otherwise, when I first read that, my brain immediately corrected that from Jargis or Yarhis, again, depending on how it's pronounced, and thought it said Jar Jar for a second. I was about to lose my shit. I was going to say, evidently he's fighting Jar Jar Binks, which is the most annoying fuck in the world. Not the co-main event. The fight just before the co-main event. Another very good fight. Jimmy Manuwa against Nikita Krylov. I actually forgot that he was still in the UFC. Not Manuwa. Krylov. He hasn't been around in a while. So good for him. The co-main event is Rustam Khabilov against Stormin Norman Park. That should be a really good fight. And of course, the main event, Michael Bisping against Gegard Mousasi. I hope Mousasi whips the fuck out of him. To be determined. Let's see. UFC 197. No announcements. What about in Brisbane? I know they're going back to Brisbane in March. Let's see if they got any ideas as to who's gonna be on that card. Nope. Okay, that's it. That's all the announcements they've made. There is a prediction that, let's see, when is that actually? July 2nd of next year, 2016. That in Las Vegas, UFC 200, that will be Rousey Home 2, or Home Rousey 2, I'm sorry, which I still think is a bullshit fight. Nothing against Rousey. It's just I don't think she deserves an immediate rematch based on the way you lost. If you'd lost by decision, I would have gone, absolutely, I want to see that again. But you got knocked out. Let Misha fight Holly. Well, no shit. Sorry, again, I looked up. Eddie Money is going to be here. Assuming this is like the Little River or something like that. Hang on. Okay, where is this? Soaring Eagle, Mount Pleasant. Cool. Must be 18 years old to gamble. Imagine that. I'm glad they clarified that, because there's a lot of shit around here that's 21, and you don't know unless you call. Because there's one... Let me explain. I'm in Grand Rapids. Hang on, I'll Google it to tell you the exact amount. If I could spell. From where I live in Grand Rapids to Mount Pleasant, it is 83.8 miles. Takes you an hour and 27 minutes. I feel that that's false. It's because I'm not taking that into consideration. Sorry, because you got to go across. Oh, then fuck, I'd just hop on 27. Sorry, again, to those people who don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm contemplating possibly going to that. I wouldn't mind seeing Eddie Money. That'd be a concert. I'm weird. I like old music. Let me see. You'd take 31 to Alma. Alma to 120. All right, just hop on 127. Go head like I'm going towards Flint. Yeah, and then go up. Sorry, I thought that hour and 27 minutes. I'm going, that's bullshit. I can get there in a half hour. That tells you how fast that most people I'm with drive. It's an hour and 27 minutes. Actually, hang on. Alma. Alma is... Well, that's 86 miles. Yeah, I can get there in... It's 83.8 miles. On US 131, which travels through, of course, Michigan. I could get there in... Yeah, 45 minutes. 45 minutes to an hour, I can get to the exit. Then you gotta, truck back through the back roads and shit. But I mean, to get to the exit, I can get there in 45 minutes. It says an hour and 27. Bullshit. I have a place in Grayling. I can get there in under an hour and a half. Because everyone says it takes about 2 hours. I've made it there in an hour and 43 minutes. We timed ourselves once. We weren't going the speed limit, but that wasn't part of the parameters for what we were doing. Actually, let me look that up. Because it's going to tell you 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. 2 hours and 19 minutes. Look at that. I was close. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, bullshit. I've made it there in an hour and 45. The longest part to get to my cabin is it's in the middle of the woods. And so you got to trek through back roads that aren't paved. That's the longest part. Is after you get off the highway. Not saying it's far. It's not. It's a nice little getaway, though. Beautiful place. Other than that, not a lot of shit's going on, to be honest with you. Of course, the holidays are coming up. The reason I say holidays is because damn hiccups. Yeah, that's the reason I say that. Because of the damn hiccups. Is because I don't know what religion you are, whoever's watching this. So I say holidays. Currently, I know that Hanukkah is going on, I believe. Of course. Oh, it's starting to rain. I don't know if you can hear that. That metallic clicking. That's the fan to the microwave. That's how I know if it's raining. You hear that click, 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 click. That's means it raining. Oh, it's coming down rather hard, actually. They said it was supposed to rain. Whatever. Like I said, don't know what religion you are. I'm sorry, I wasn't. My school was mostly Christian people, so we didn't focus on other religions, because they'd rather create a bunch of bigots who don't know anything about other people's religions and only want to preach the Christianity thing. I believe that we should have some form of equality through all religions. I'm not doing this to beat the drum on my own drum. I'm just saying, I really think that that's part of the problem with this country, is that we don't take other people's shit into consideration. So whatever it is that you're celebrating, I don't know the names of all of them. Be safe and have fun with that. I'm going to be celebrating Christmas, of course. Although I do have something that's kind of cool. Some people will get it, some people won't. I've been meaning to make dog tags for myself. Like what you put on your dog license. Something like that, to commemorate both of my dogs. And I've been meaning to do it for years. I haven't gotten around to it, and finally I just said screw it. And so, there. I've made both of these. I gotta figure out which one's in my hand. Reggie was the dog I had before I ever decided to try and do a podcast. He died when I was 13. Or sorry, when I was 12. He was 13. And Bernie, of course, I've had on here. He died this August. I just got to get a chain, and I'll be keeping both of these with me. See, still a touchy subject. And now I got Hank, who is asleep. Nope, he's awake. He's laying on his bed. Now I got Hank Puppy. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Trying to think if there's anything else going on. Hockey. Of course, there's college football going on. There's some bowl games. Don't know who all is playing. College basketball starting up. Not a huge fan of that. I'll watch March Madness, but up until March Madness, I really don't pay attention to it. NBA is going on. Kobe is going to retire. That reminds me. Notable NFL retirement. Charles Woodson, safety of the Raiders right now, has decided at the end of the season he's going to retire. Which is pretty cool. Sorry, cute commercial. Yeah, other than that, not much going on. As always, huge thank you to Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogan Experience. That's actually what I said in German at the beginning of this. Without him, I would never thought about doing this. And his podcast is available on iTunes and YouTube. I'm not trying to stretch this out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. Also brought to you as a huge thank you to Science, the only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. Great tasting energy drink. The original great tasting 0 calorie energy drink. The real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you the hashtag power to. Also brought to you by Fucks. Not given here, not given there, not given anywhere. Also, the information that I've given you has come from I gotta read their exact explanation. The world's authority on mixed martial arts. That is ShareDog. That's where I've got mixed martial arts UFC information. And the other information about the NFL came to you from the NFL.com, where I was able to look up, of course, the Pro Bowl and the schedule. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Happy holidays to those who do not celebrate Christmas. To those of you who do, Merry Christmas. I will not be on until I might do one more to end the year. But other than that, this will probably be it. Please follow the Facebook page, the Lewis Sabin Video Podcast on Facebook. It's a group page open to the public. Feel free to hop on there. I do post to that every once in a while. But yeah, guys, have yourselves a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, night, whenever it is that you watch this.